Hello everyone. So today I thought I will share how I recently got some inspiration from Luke Smith and also implemented a very simple way to manage my bookmarks. Now, Luke Smith is a very popular YouTuber, and especially if you want to learn about Linux or open source, and he also talks about other things, but most of his, not all, but most of his videos are quite informative, and I think that is what we should do. We should probably not follow someone blindly, but we should try to pick things that are good. So all of us, we have some really good things to talk about, and I think it is very important that that we get some, or that we take some inspiration by of course first understanding and analyzing that whether this information that they're sharing is applicable to us or not. So talking about bookmarking, I think what Luke Smith showed, I think it makes perfect sense, and I already use a similar method to manage bookmarks, not only bookmarks but something similar. So if you're using Arch Linux, then you can actually do a lot of wonderful things uh, with dmenu, st-terminal, and also uh, so dmenu, st-terminal, and of course dwm. These are all utility suckless applications, and if you can go to their website to learn about it. So let me first show you how I manage things where I need to access something, like some information. It could be a small piece of information, but I need to have access to it. For example, I make videos on YouTube, and of course I upload it on YouTube. But at the same time, I also upload a thumbnail. So all of my videos will always have a thumbnail, and I use a script to generate a thumbnail. But when I generate a thumbnail, I have some background images about the topic. For example, if I'm making this video on Linux, then you will see on this thumbnail Linux in the background on top left corner, and I also write something on those images. And whenever I write something, I need access to my uh, hexadecimal code. So I basically do it using this simple method where I press Super C, Windows C key, and I can, of course, for example, if I'm making a video on Linux, so I can actually find Linux here in the list, and the moment I press enter, it will actually copy this to my clipboard. So basically now what I have is basically this shortcut that, not really a shortcut, but basically I whenever I have this particular color which I copy, I basically have it on my clipboard so I can use it wherever I want. And this is useful because if I maybe show you, let us say, so you can see here that I just copied the color. Now this works wonderfully well because all I'm doing is I basically have a file where I have a list of all the hexadecimal codes, and then I also have some, like there is like this line. It starts with the actual hexadecimal code, followed by space, and some information about that particular code. For example, if I'm making a video about Emacs, then I have this hexadecimal code which I use. So this is good. It works nicely, and the way it works is very simple. All I do is I have this file where I keep track of these colors. So let me just show you this file which is called as colors. And I was already doing it, and after watching Luke Smith's video, I thought, okay, I should probably do something similar for my bookmarking because the concept is same. The bookmarks, all the bookmarks are actually stored in this particular file, bookmarks.txt, and basically it is nothing but it starts with the URL, and then of course some information. For example, if I'm talking about ravisagar.in, then that is of course basically my Drupal site, my main site, and so basically this helps. So if I have to access my bookmarks, I press Super B, and it will then bring this in front of me like a menu. This is of course the menu, and I can type here, let us say Ravi, and it will filter those lines where we have Ravi, and I can of course just press enter, and I can copy it to my clipboard, and then I can use it wherever I want. Now, what Luke Smith was doing in his videos, I think he was using I think there's one utility called, I forgot the name of the utility. Basically, it will simulate the typing. So basically, the moment you select something, it will basically paste it or type it, for example, in a like in your address bar, for example. So let me first show you what I did. So I basically have, of course, this number one. So basically we have this file, and then there is a shell script which is doing some magic in the background. So that particular shell script is something that will basically look for this file, and it will then present it to dmenu. And I basically keep all my shell scripts in a separate directory where I just want to basically have this shell script where I want to, because it is a shell script and it is my own script, I want to of course make sure that I version control it. So it's a separate directory which is in my path. So all my shell scripts are in my path. And if I show you this file, all this file is doing is basically looking at this this particular bookmarks.txt file. Of course, I'm not really going to do a demo of dmenu because you can watch Luke Smith's video, but I'm just showing you what I do slightly differently. So, I mean, 99% of the things are different. I'm basically looking at this file, and then I'm feeding it to dmenu here, and I'm only displaying the top 20 lines because I don't really want to display like all of it. And then I'm printing the first basically when you look at this list, you have of course the hexadecimal code, or if I talk about my bookmarks, you have the URL, then space. So I'm picking the first item in that line, and when I pick it up, then I of course copy to my clipboard, and that is it. And I'm also sending this to my notify send, which is basically notifications. So I know that, okay, something has been copied. So this is great. So basically this is for picking up the information. And at the same time, if you're let us say trying to bookmark something, okay, let me open Brave very quickly. So let us say I want to bookmark what else? Let us say www.ravi, come on, .ravi.pro. So this is one website which I manage using org mode, nothing else. So if I select this URL and if I press super and then capital B, or basically super then shift then then B, it will basically save this bookmark to that file. So basically if I now go back to my bookmarks, I have this ravi.pro in like added to my bookmarks, and it is actually very simple. If I show you the bookmarks here, now of course we have this bookmark which I just added. Again, I'll probably later on modify this if I want. I can also maybe add some additional details like after space, so that okay, there is a space for sure, but I'm doing it. So basically I'm bookmarking something, and the actual script is very simple. It is called as bookmark this. And all this script is doing, and again, this script is something that I, because I was watching Luke Smith's video, I thought this is interesting because instead of doing it manually, it is always good to have a script somewhere which you can call using, of course, a shortcut. And I'll show you the shortcuts. And I think you know the answer. And that is something that I'm doing differently. So I don't really use DWM because you can actually do in your DWM configuration, you can have these shortcuts, and you can of course recompile your or basically build it again, your DWM, and it will basically in your window manager the shortcut. But I manage my shortcuts using sxhkd. So basically what this is doing is basically whatever I'm selecting here, so you can do it using xclip -o. So you can save it in a variable, and then if that particular variable, or not variable, but that particular bookmark or whatever I'm copying, the URL is already in that particular file, then I am basically not appending it to that particular file. So I'm basically sending a message, okay, oops, it is already bookmarked. But if it is not, then of course I am appending it to the file, and that is it. So it's a very simple approach, and I agree that you should try to do something. I mean, of course, you can always use something a bit more complicated, But why? I mean, you should do it. If all you want to do is to keep track of your bookmarks that you can access anywhere, or not really anywhere. I mean, you can, because this bookmark and this shell script, I will, of course, because I manage my dot scripts using Git, so I'll commit it, because I do have sxhkd, which I will show you. Let me just show you my configurations for sxhkd, and basically what I'm doing here is I am using this this particular shortcut. Basically, if you look here for super C, it is basically calling the colors, in the DWM. Basically, that script. For bookmarks, I'm calling the bookmark script. For bookmarking something, I'm calling the script called bookmark this. So this is useful, and thank you, Luke. It is. I totally agree with you. This is definitely a better way of doing it. And to be honest, I don't really manage my bookmarks because I don't really care about too many bookmarks anyways. And right now I do have all the URLs that I manage. I basically do a couple of them, not really a couple of them, but few of them using my Brave. And I don't really care too much about, because I don't really have the need to remember the URLs. If I have to remember the URLs, I anyways have them listed somewhere. And I think now I will use this this file, a simple text file, and I'm sure you can improve it. But I think this works really fine. I mean, the thing that I'm doing differently here is that I'm not only storing the URL, but I'm also storing some information so that I can, for example, if I want to go to my my BlackBerry Boy channel's URL, so I can type here BlackBerry, and it will filter for me, and that is it. So this is definitely a very simple, easy way to manage the bookmarks, and you can actually, because if you're copying it to your clipboard, you can actually use it in your browser, or if you're doing something in your terminal, you can also press Ctrl+Shift+V. It works nicely. It works nicely, and I'm quite happy with the simple, elegant, neat setup, and everything is a text file. Great, because that is what we want. Because if it is a text file, then you can, of course, move it. It's portable, and there is no additional software that you need to install. And that is it. That is it, guys. And I thought I'll share with all of you, because there is no harm in learning from each other, and we should try to pick up good things that we all have to share. Of course, I make videos on a lot of things, but you don't have to follow each and everything that I do. It's all about my way of doing it, and then hopefully you can also think and pick up few things that you think might be useful in your situation, because your needs might be different. Maybe for example, talking about bookmarks and colors because I need access to my colors, because I do remember my important colors, they're hexadecimal codes, but not all of them, of course, because it is hexadecimal. And it is always convenient if you have these hexadecimal codes handy with you all the time. And the same approach should work with bookmarks. I actually watched this video of bookmarking, I think, a few months back when Luke Smith released it, but I never really got a chance or felt the need to do it. But I was not really doing anything useful today, so I thought, okay, let me do this and also make a video out of it. All right, that is it. That is it for today. Thank you. Bye bye.